If you're trying to figure out how you can add some more income into your life, or if you're trying to figure out how you can start your own business and grow it and scale it, you're in the right place, because in this video, I'm going to show you how you can start a business and grow it successfully even if you have no money to start. What's up everybody, I am Jaspreet Singh from the MinorityMindset.com, where money minds rethink rich. If your goal is to start a business and you want to make $1 million a year, that means you divide that by 365, you have to make $2,739 a day in revenue to build a business that's making you $1 million a year. If your business doesn't operate on weekends and holidays and you're only working Monday through Friday, well then now you gotta take this $1 million and you gotta divide it by 261, because now we gotta take out weekends and holidays, which means you have to make $3,831 a day if you want to make $1 million a year in your business. If you want to make $100,000 a year, just remove 1 0. If you want to make $100,000 a year here, you got to make $273 a day. If you want to make $100,000 here, that means you have to make $383 a day. The question now is, how do you start from $0 and take that to $273 a day or $383 a day? What do you do? Where do you start? Now, before I get into the first thing that you got to do, I need you to do me a quick favor and smash that thumbs up button below. And if you haven't already, be sure to join our brand new free Discord server called the Guac Talk Community, because as we all know, extra guac is truly a symbol of extra wealth. And in this community, you can talk about all things related to stock market investing, real estate investing, cryptocurrency investing, starting a business, and all things building wealth. So if you want to learn more and join our free Discord server where you can chat with and network with minority mindset thinkers, I'll put the link to how you can do that in the description below. If you want to start a business and you don't have a business idea and you don't have access to capital, you can't go and raise money somewhere, the first thing you got to do is you got to get some cash quickly. And the easiest way to do that, if you don't have a lot of money to start, is by using your services. Go out and start detailing people's cars. Go out and start mowing people's lawns. Go out and start helping people with stuff. This is an easy way for you to go out and start generating some cash. That way you have some cash to invest in your business, even if that means being able to now afford building a website or registering your business or filing whatever licenses you need. If you don't know where to start, just take a look around you in your home. Start by selling some of your clothes or some of your old furniture or some of your old electronics. Everyone has stuff in their homes, and it's an easy way for you to generate at least a few $1,000s because you have this extra stuff sitting in your home that you're not using. Just take it and sell it. Now you got some extra cash. Once you do that, then you got to figure out what kind of business you actually want to start. And this isn't always the easiest thing to do, because people make it kind of seem like you're just gonna be able to find your passion and know what you want. But it took me a lot of different business tries to figure out what I liked and what my passion really was, because my passion changed so many times and what I thought was cool changed so many times. But this is where you have to learn to be resourceful, because so many people make it seem like if you want to start a business and if you want to build a big business, you need a whole bunch of money to start. That you cannot start a successful business unless you have resources and unless you have a whole bunch of cash in your pocket. But that's just not true if you have the ability to think and be creative and be resourceful. When I was in high school, I would spend my weekends working at Indian weddings, and I would work with DJs, and I would play an instrument called the dhol, which is a native Indian Punjabi drum. And so I would play this drum at weddings and I would make a little bit of money, but I got to know a lot of the DJs. And one of the DJs in the industry said, "Hey, you know a lot of people, you're in high school, how about you and I work together to start hosting teen parties at a local restaurant?" There was a new restaurant that popped up in our city, and this restaurant was looking for some exposure and they were looking for some brand awareness, and so they were willing to work with us to allow us to host parties there in exchange for us promoting the restaurant. And us promoting the restaurant doesn't cost us any money, so I figured, hey, let's do it. Now we had a venue to host the party, which was the restaurant. We had a DJ to provide the music, and then we had me, the promoter. I didn't have any extra cash to throw into this business idea, and my parents were not about to give their son some money to throw into this dumb business idea when I should be studying, and so we had to get creative. The way that we would make money is that we would charge people cover or a fee to get into the venue, but we did have costs before the party started. Like we needed to pay for security, we had to pay some money to marketing to create some flyers, and so the DJ agreed that he would front the money to do these things, which was maybe a few $100, and then the money that we make from charging cover would first pay off these expenses, and then whatever money is left after that, we would split 50-50. The DJ would take half and I would take half. My first party when I was in high school ended up being huge. So many people ended up showing up because they were curious about what was going on, but we were not ready for that, and so it was just me and the DJ working, and the DJ had to work at the DJ booth, and I was the one trying to collect cover and run everything else. And so because I was running around, a lot of people got into the venue without even paying to get in. By the time we got to the end of the night, everybody had a great time, and now we had some cash to count, and now we're counting the cash, we paid off the expenses, and then we finished counting out all the expenses, and then we were left with a whole $4. $2 for the DJ, $2 for me. We had spent weeks planning the event, preparing for the event, and getting everything ready, and now to reward ourselves, we had a whole $2 each. But this was the start of something a whole lot bigger for me, because when I got to college, I saw that everybody around me in college was partying. But I didn't drink, I wasn't into partying, I just liked the hosting side of it because I liked the business side of it. You know where this is going now, right? So now I'm in college, I see everybody partying, but I don't want to spend my time partying, so I'm a freshman in college, and the first thing I do is I start knocking on the doors of all the clubs and venues on my college campus, and I ask them, hey, what can I do to host a party at your venue? The first club I go to says, no problem, just pay us $10,000 and you can have the venue and host your party and do whatever you want. I don't have $10,000, so that was not going to happen. I go to the next place, they didn't answer the door. I go to the third place, they said, sure, you can do a party here, and all you got to do is give us, the club, 50% of the cover that you earn. Now it's the exact same thing as before. I didn't have to pay any money to get the venue. I know a whole bunch of DJs, and they were all willing to work with me on a 50-50 commission. So half of the revenue would go to the club, and now we have half of the revenue left. Half of this now remaining revenue would go to the DJ, and the other half would be mine. So yeah, I didn't get to make all the money that I could have, but it was an easy way for me to get started without putting in a whole bunch of cash, because now I have everything I need. Now all I gotta do is do the marketing, and because I'm in college, everybody's all around you. So I would spend a few $100s to print 5,000 flyers, and then I would stand on the street on my college campus passing these out, and I wouldn't stop until all 5,000 flyers were gone. This business grew very quickly because word spread fast about how much fun people were having at our events, and second, it was easy to start with very little cash. So the first thing you have to do if you want to be able to build a successful business is you have to be resourceful. If you are not resourceful, you will never be able to build any sort of successful business. This is not something that you can learn how to do in books. This is just something where you have to be aware of what's around you, and you have to start using the resources around you, because this is what will allow you to be able to build a business using whatever you have around you. The easiest way to make up for your lack of dollars is just to increase your hustle. Now when you start making a little bit of money, the next thing you're going to start thinking about is scalability. How can you take this little bit of money that you're making and scale it into something a whole lot bigger? And this is where you have to understand the difference between just owning your own job and actually running a business. Because the issue that I had with this party promotion business was, one, I got sick of the business because I didn't really like the industry, but second was it wasn't scalable, because the way it worked is, yeah, I made good money. I can make a few $1,000s in a weekend. But if I wasn't hosting an event, if I wasn't there working, I wasn't gonna get paid. When we talk about building a business, not just owning your own job, when I talk about building business, I mean you own a machine that will continue to produce revenue or to produce money even if you're not physically working, because either you have other people working that are continuing to run the machine, or you have a system, which is very important even with other people, is you need to have a system where this business can run even without you physically working. When we're talking about a business, you have to understand that there's two parts to every business if we're talking about building a real business. You have the owners, and then you have the employees. And so what you need to understand is when you are building a business, you are both the owner and the employee. But what you don't want to do if you're talking about really building a business is get stuck into understanding that you are the only owner and the only employee. See, when I was running the event planning business, I was making decent money. I was the owner of the business, I was the only employee, and so anytime I made money, this was money that was going into my pocket. But there's a difference between the money you earn from working in the business and the profit that your business makes. Because if I had paid myself just a regular salary, then now if I cut myself out, if I hired somebody else to take my position working in the business, then there wouldn't be really any profit left, because now all the money is going to pay the salary, and the owner, who in this case was also me, but if the owner was someone else, then the owner would be left with nothing. Let's think about it this way. I create a guacamole business that is now doing $1 million a year in revenue. I started the business myself. I created this guacamole recipe. I started selling it in stores, and now stores around the country are carrying it, and I'm doing $1 million a year in revenue. So what's happening now is I'm making $1 million, but then I got to pay my expenses. I got to buy my avocados, I got to buy the salt, I got to buy all the other stuff, and all my expenses are costing me, let's just say $500,000, which means now I am left with $500,000 a year. But all this $500,000 is a profit because now I have to pay myself. And for the purposes of this example, I'm going to assume that there are no other employees in this business. So let's assume that I'm the only employee, I'm the only owner. And so now if we talk about the profit, which is the difference between what the owner gets and what the employee gets, I have to pay myself as an employee of the business, as a CEO or whatever. I have to pay myself a salary. So for the sake of this example, let's assume that a person in this position, if I had to hire somebody else to take my role in this job, I'd have to pay them $200,000 a year. So now this is $200,000 for salary, which means the business is making $300,000 of profit because I had to pay somebody, in this case it's me, $200,000 to run the business. This is the difference between running a business and just owning your own job. Because if you're running a business, now what you can do is you can find somebody else to take this job and you can own the business. You don't have that ability to do that if you are just running and owning your own job. So when we're talking about being able to scale a business, you have to understand that in order to build a real business, you have to have a business where you can pluck yourself out of the equation and have somebody else come in and do the same job. And you got to understand that, hey, this person is going to want money as the employee. Right now, you might not be paying yourself a salary because whatever is left in the business account is just money for you, but that's not how you want to be thinking if you really want to build a scalable business. You have to understand that if somebody else was in your shoes, how much money would they charge as a salary? Now you pay yourself that as a salary, and whatever's left is the profit in the business. Once you can separate these two things, now you have the ability to build a real business because you understand that, hey, somebody else can take your spot and you can still be the owner of the business. The second thing that you got to understand about scaling is you want to be able to have a product that allows you to scale your brand. I'm going to focus in on the internet here because the internet has changed the way that business can be done now, and it makes scaling your business so much more accessible. Now, just because it's more accessible doesn't mean it's easy, but scaling and building a business is so much more accessible now because you can reach millions and billions of people around the globe thanks to the internet. Every single business in the world needs only two things in order to be able to survive. And I don't care what type of business you're talking about. If you want to build a successful business, whether it's making $100,000 a year or $10 million a year, you have to have these two things if you want to be able to survive, grow, or thrive. You got to have a product and you got to have customers. If you have a product that customers are buying, now you have a successful business. But if you have a good product that no one's buying, well, now you don't have a business. And likewise, if you have customers who want your product, but you have nothing to sell to them, well, now you're not making any money and you cannot build a business doing that. This is at its core what building a business comes down to. You need a product to sell to customers, and you need customers that want to buy your product. This is something that you have to figure out. What is this product that you want to create? What is something that you can create value in that people would want? Once you create this product, now it's a matter of finding customers. And now thanks to the internet, the most accessible way for you to find customers is to open up an Instagram page. It's to start a TikTok channel. It's for you to start a YouTube channel. It's for you to start a Facebook page. Something where now you're putting out content where you can educate people about your product. So now potential customers can see your product, and if they like it, now they have the ability to buy your product. Now thanks to the internet, if you have a product, you can get customers to buy your product 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you don't got to worry about paying rent to get your business started because now people can come onto your online store, people can go onto your website any time of the day from anywhere in the world, any day of the week. You don't need to start off with a sales rep or a customer service rep to service every single customer. It's all digitalized, it's all automatic. And so now you have the ability to scale a business idea assuming that you have a product if you know how to find the customer, and this is all digital marketing. So you can see there's so many different verticals here. First, you gotta know how to create the product. This is innovation. What do you want to create? What do you want to do? What are you good at? Then, how do you find the customer? Well, now this is digital marketing. How do you find customers on Instagram? How do you find customers on TikTok? How do you build a blog? How do you build a YouTube channel? There's so many different verticals that you can take here, and if you don't want to go that route, then you can look into how do you do paid advertising? How do you create viral messages? How do you create a message that people will want to share with their friends? And how can you run an advertisement profitably on Facebook or Instagram or whatever? Once you can figure that system out, then it's all just a numbers game. If you can make $27 of profit for every product that you sell, and you sell 10 of these products a day, well, now you will be able to create a business that's generating $100,000 a year in revenue just by selling 10 of these products a day. If you want to take it up to $1 million a year, well, then you're going to need 100 sales a day, and that's going to take you up to 1 million. But now it's just a numbers game. How do you take it to 10 products a day? Once you can figure that out, now you come up with new marketing ideas. Now you come up with new product ideas. How can you scale it to $1 million a day, right? It's all baby steps. First thing you got to do is you got to learn to sell one product a day. Once you can sell one product a day, you can scale this up to sell 10 products a day. To go from 10 to 100, now you might want to create a second product. That way you can make more money per product, per sale, because now people might be buying 2 products every time they buy something. And now you might be coming up with new marketing messages, new creative ideas to access more people and to get more eyeballs on your product. If you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to start a side business or you want to start your own business, don't let someone tell you that you don't have the ability to do it because you don't have the cash or the experience. All you need to do is you got to first be resourceful. You got to know what you want, and then you got to put in the puzzle pieces to make it happen. It is not easy. It's not going to happen overnight. Starting a business is a lot of work, and it's not for the vast majority of people. But if it's for you, you got to go out and make it happen. Find the way to put the pieces together, and then you'll be able to create your own success through that. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, here's a video on things you should not do when you get paid that I think you'll love. And while you're at it, download our free PDF on how to start generating passive income. And as always, keep hustling. The first is real estate for residential purposes for reasons that you might not expect. Now, when I say real estate for residential purposes, I mean real estate where people live in.